All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number, 44, something around there. So today, first things first. Yesterday's video was interesting, to say the least. Fun fact, that was the second take of that video. The first one, I was upset enough about it that I'm like, you know what? Not going to publish this. Take from that what you will. But overnight, I lost the 3 subscribers, none of which were from that video. And roughly around this time every month, I lose subscribers. I'm assuming due to like YouTube purges and that. So I have no idea if people were genuinely genuinely upset about the stuff that I talked about, or it's just YouTube being YouTube, because that's how YouTube works. I'm fine with leaving politics alone for a while. I do my best not to talk about politics on this channel, mostly because, again, compared to the vast majority of YouTubers, I have relatively unpopular opinions on a few subjects. And most people really are not interested in a more nuanced take on politics. Politics right now has just become, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. And it doesn't actually matter what one side says. It's this side bad, this side good. And even when the policies flip-flop, it's still this side bad, this side good. So I'm fine not to talking about that, but something I do think we need to talk about on this channel is I want to do more RPG stuff. And I've been trying to figure out, I love discovering new dragons and designing new dragons. Those are still going to continue. Again, I still have that 13th Age video that all I have to do is timestamp it, upload it, and create a thumbnail for it. And my brain just does not let me to do that. But hopefully this week that will be going up. And I plan to continue doing that because I think it's a useful series, though I think the discovering new dragons part, I need to work on a little bit more to get it a little more fine-tuned as far as like format is concerned, because it feels a little bit too similar to my in-depth reviews, and I want it to be a distinct, separate thing that's just made for people that want to learn about a new RPG. So that's a thing that is going to be happening. However, I miss doing D&D deep dives. I miss going like hyper-focused into mechanics of an RPG system and all the cool stuff that you can do in it. And I've kind of written off D&D at least until one D&D comes out, because they're not really putting anything new out that's worth doing a D&D deep dive on. Like the last few subclasses they've put out have not wowed me. I mean, I've read them over. Like the giant barbarian was interesting because it's a way for you to make a ranged barbarian, which I found cool. But other than that, there really wasn't anything like, oh, this is the most amazing thing ever. So I'm probably not going to do any more D&D content until bare minimum one D&D comes out. And even then, depending on how one D&D turns out, I may not be focusing a whole lot on D&D. Don't get me wrong, I still like D&D. I still play 2 D&D games. I'm running 2 D&D campaigns right now, and I'm playing in a 3rd D&D campaign. So it's not like I don't like D&D. I'm not one of those people who's like, Wizard of Coast, people. No, it's a great game. But it's just gotten boring for me, because it hasn't really changed in a decade. And for me, that gets very, very boring very, very quickly. So there are other systems. Obviously, Essence20 has become really big on this channel specifically. Most of my top videos are Essence20 related. I love Essence20. I've been trying to kick around an idea about how I could do a D&D deep dive for Essence20 games without basically giving away everything about how the class runs and everything like that. Like, I never want my videos to replace someone actually going out and buying the books. Well, you didn't seem to have a problem when you were doing it for D&D. Yeah, it's because it's Dungeons and Dragons, and you can buy all of the classes on D&D Beyond generally for a couple of bucks, or the subclasses. All the classes just exist, but the subclasses you generally can just buy for like $2 or $3. So I didn't really have a problem going really, really in depth because it's effectively required in order to be able to talk about the mechanics. The other issue I have with doing Essence20 is I just haven't played a lot of Essence20, and because of that, I don't have the foundation that I had with Dungeons and Dragons, specifically 5th edition. But it's something that I want to explore because I think, first of all, I think you guys would really, really like it. And second of all, I haven't seen anybody on YouTube doing that for Essence20. Like, Essence20 is still not massively popular in general, despite the fact that they've released 400,000 books. Essence20 does not have not really a fan base, but a creator base that is doing like custom builds and is doing theory crafting, and this is how you break Essence20. Whereas things like Dungeons and Dragons, you have crap tons of that. There are channels who the entirety of their content is just breaking D&D by not understanding what rules and words mean. And there's stuff like that for Pathfinder. And for the most part, as far as I have seen, that's about it. You every so often will get cool stuff for like every so often you'll get cool stuff for miniatures games like BattleTech and that, where you get people that get really into talking about, you know, whether the Phoenix Hawk is good in this build or this, that, and that, the other. And that I find really interesting. But you don't really get kind of build channels for non D&D RPGs. And Pathfinder is D&D, guys. I hate to break it to you, Pathfinder is D&D. Even Pathfinder 2nd Edition is D&D. Though it's further away from D&D than 1st Edition Pathfinder is. And Starfinder is D&D in space. That's all it is. So I think it might be fun to do those in-depth guides and try to find kind of some interesting stuff to do there. I just have to figure out how I would do it, I guess, is the issue. And then, you know, make up some templates and stuff for thumbnails and other things like that. But yeah, so those are the things that I've been thinking about recently. Is I want to do more than just discovering new dragons and designing new dragons. Not that I don't love them, but I miss, like, discovering new dragons and designing new dragons is really heavily geared towards people that don't know the system at all, which is perfectly fine. But because of that, and because it's stuff that most of these systems I've never played, a lot of it is I'm learning the system as I'm building these characters. And I miss that kind of very inquisitive, detail-oriented, deep dive format. I also have to come up with an interesting name for a series, because D&D Deep Dive was brilliant. D&D Deep Dive was so brilliant that there's another channel on YouTube that I would assume didn't steal the name from me, but I was using it for years before they existed. And I actually reached out and tried to contact them and say, hey, you're kind of using my name. Maybe we can come to an agreement or something, and they never answered me back. Which I mostly did in the rare case that they got big enough that they decided to trademark their channel name, which is a common thing to do. And if they did that, fun fact about trademark law, if you apply for a trademark, once it's been accepted, excuse me for a second here, I got something in my eye and it's killing me. That was unpleasant. There, that's better. All right. Sorry. So, the thing about trademark law, when you apply for a trademark, you first have to basically you have to actually have an image of the word that you're trademarking, and that's going to be the mark. Is that image? So once you've proven that this is your trademark, what then has to happen, and that nobody else has that trademark or something similar enough to that trademark that they wouldn't give it to you, then you have this period where you have to go out and actively find anyone that is using that name and sue them, or at least send them cease and desist, going, hey, this is my trademark. You have to stop using it or I'm going to sue you, kind of thing. And that's part of trademark law. A lot of people confuse copyright and trademark because they both involve intellectual property, but copyright is fairly weak as far as what happens with it. Like if you infringe on someone's copyright, if they decide that they don't want to do anything about it, you are 100% golden. Copyright only matters when the copyright holder has a problem with what you're doing. Trademark, if someone with a trademark simply allows someone else to use that trademark for whatever reason, because they're like, hey, they're not doing any problems or I don't mind, they lose their trademark. Trademark is highly protected, and the purpose of a trademark is this thing, this name, this idea is so important to my company that if anyone else uses it, it's going to damage my brand and the value of my company. And because of that, it cannot exist anywhere else. And simply applying for a trademark in that, I can't remember if it's like 3 months or 6 months, or I can't remember the time frame. Any time in that time frame, anyone can can contact the trademark office, the U.S. Patent Office, and contest your trademark. And all they have to do is prove that they've been using that particular thing at least as long or longer than that particular, the trademark. They've been using the trademark longer than this person. And so, yeah, one of the main reasons I sent that email out was simply because I now have a record that shows, hey, by the way, I've been using this longer than you, so if you attempt to trademark it for whatever reason. And trademarking is pretty essential if you decide to create an LLC or anything like that. Like, you really want to have your company name trademarked. Yeah, the fun things that happens when you understand copyright and trademark law. And thus far, nothing's happened. So I guess it really doesn't matter, but I always like to cover my bases. So anyway, yeah, those are the things that I've been thinking about recently. And maybe it won't be Essence20. Maybe it will be some other system that I have more experience with, like Open Legend. I have a crap ton of experience with, and so that might be really, really fun to do deep dives. This is on, despite the fact that deep diving Open Legend is a little bit more difficult because it's a skill-based RPG, so I don't have like classes. I would have to basically do like episodes on banes and boons and then feats, and that's really all you can do because all the stats are entirely subjective. Like, you have an elemental stat, doesn't actually mean anything. Or a creation stat. It means you do something involving creation. But the things that make your characters unique is the banes and boons that they can inflict, the flavor that you impart on them, and then the feats that you take. So that might be fun. Or, like I said, right now I'm running a Cypher system, kick a campaign for Zelda Universe, and I've been playing a lot of Cypher, and I've gotten really familiar with Cypher, so it might be fun, especially since Cypher, the vast majority of the Cypher system is in the SRD. So I could go absolutely 100% in depth into everything, and wouldn't have to feel like I'm possibly taking money away from a creator, because everything I'm talking about is available for free from Monty Cook Games, the people that make the Cypher system. So yeah, maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should focus on the Cypher system. I'm interested to know what you guys want, because I haven't done a ton of Cypher system stuff on here. I think I've done one. I did a discovering new dragons and designing new dragons on the Cypher system, and it was okay. It wasn't anywhere near as big as the Essence20 stuff, because you guys really love the Essence20 stuff. And I firmly believe that Essence20 is vastly underrepresented in on YouTube. Like, there are people that have reviewed a few of the books, and that's it. So there's definitely a market for it. Like I said, since there's no kind of SRD or something like that for Essence20, I always feel a little bit weird about doing massive deep dives, because I do have to talk about very specific mechanics to be able to do the deep dive on it, and I always worry that someone will take one of my videos and basically kind of reverse engineer the class off of it. It's one of the reasons why I generally don't show pages or take too many direct quotes, because I don't want people using my stuff to replace buying the books. And with D&D, like I said, it is not worth, like, going through and reverse engineering a class or a subclass based off of one of my D&D deep dives is not worth the $2 or $3 it would cost to buy it. Like, it really just isn't. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But again, I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Would you guys like to see me start doing kind of a deep dive style series on Essence20 stuff? I would probably start with the Power Rangers, because I likes the Power Rangers. And then kind of go from there? Or would you guys prefer to see an Open Legend deep dive, Cypher System did a deep dive, Fabula Ultima did a deep dive? That one is... There are so many things about that system that I just love. And the creator of the system, I'm in their Discord. It's a great Discord. And every month he puts out a new playtest package for the new awesome shit that he's coming up with. And it's just good stuff. Like, it's just really, really good. And I'm highly impressed with just how amazing the stuff that they put out is. So, yeah. Well, anyway, let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, again, that is all for me today. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Bye-bye.